إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره، نعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا، من يهدي الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، أشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، خير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، شر الأمور محدثاتها، كل محدثة بدعة، كل بدعة ضلالة، كل ضلالة في النار. Tonight, inshallah, we will talk about Bab al-Waqf. Again, just to share with you خاطرة يعني the end of time يعني في آخر الزمان when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends Isa عليه السلام. He comes to بيت المقدس فيجد يعني الصلاة قد أقيمت. He finds the إقامة has been made. So when the Imam of the Muslims try to ask him to lead the Salah, فيقول إنما لك أقيمت الصلاة. فلعله يعني هناك فائدة فقهية. Perhaps there is fiqhi benefit in this, that Allahu A'lam يعني the person that the Iqamah is made for should stay and lead. And also we know in the sickness of the Prophet ﷺ, when the Prophet ﷺ said Muru Abu Bakr فَلْيُصَلِّ فِي النَّاسِ, and he was leading the people in the Salah, and then the Prophet ﷺ felt some energy, so he went to pray, and Abu Bakr prayed by the Salah of the Prophet ﷺ, and the people prayed by the Salah of Abu Bakr. So also that's another perhaps يعني دليل. So inshallah يعني we'll learn. Kitab al-Waqf, chapter of al-Waqf, or the section of al-Waqf. And this al-Waqf is a very important topic, and it's very important to يعني unfortunately that the Islamic Ummah has neglected al-Waqf and the idea of al-Waqf. Because if you look throughout the Islamic history, you find that the Islamic government was mainly concerned about the safety of the people, yani the security, yani protection of the people and fighting the enemies. But everything else and every other responsibility fell on the shoulders of the people, voluntarily yani. They volunteered. So when we talk about al-Waqf, we're talking about the idea of Muslims dedicating their wealth for the services of other Muslims. That is actually how the Islamic society was made of. So when we talk about hospitals, when they existed يعني, when we talk about taking care of the poor, when we talk about the affairs of the people, we are talking about the responsibility of the people, in the sense that they put themselves responsible. They don't have to. We know Bayt Mal Muslimin, and we know that the Islamic government is the one who will take care of the affairs of the people and their needs. But it didn't need to do that when people understood the meaning of al-Waqf. So very much every single need of the people was provided by the people voluntarily, and the business and the job of the Muslim or the Islamic government is to protect the people from the enemies, very much. So that's why it was that the civilization of the Muslims flourished, because you find that people felt that responsibility. Everyone and every individual felt that he is up to help and to assist the rest of the society. So whoever had the chance and whoever had the means and whoever had the opportunity, he would dedicate part of his wealth for the services of the Muslims, Like if you think about al-Hujjaj, when they go for Hajj, you find the Zamzam, and you find, even though the ulama yani have different opinion of considering water as waqf, but anything yani the other opinion, Allahu A'lam, is also supported. And if it's not waqf, it's sadaqah. But the point is, the wells, digging the wells for the people to drink from, the masajid, the places to take care of the sick, all these places were waqf. Were really not funded by the government. They were funded by the people. So it's very important that we need to understand, a lot of us think of waqf, the only time they see the word waqf is on the Mus'haf. You find people who are volunteering or donating to print or buy X amount of masahif, and they distribute them. Sometimes when you open the first cover, or the cover, the first page, you find a stamp there saying waqf. A lot of us don't really comprehend and understand what does that exactly mean. Okay? And a lot of people think that is the only way of waqf. But there are many, many, many things, and we will see inshallah, and we will study this part as we go on. قول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم، أو جابر رضي الله عنه يقول يعني ما أحد من أصحاب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ذو مقدرة إلا وقف. يعني no one amongst the companions of the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم who had the ability and could have afforded, but he has something waqf. And he had dedicated part of his wealth as a waqf. And we will inshallah understand and explain the meaning of al-waqf. And here's Umar radiyallahu anhu, and this is the hadith that Ibn Qudama rahimahullah used as the umdah in this topic. Hadith of Umar, when the Muslims took over Khaybar, and the Prophet ﷺ distributed the wealth and the land of the Jews over the Muslims. Umar radiyallahu anhu got a piece of land, so he asked the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, what should I do with it? يقول عمر أصبت مالا لم أصب في حياتي مالا قط أنفس عندي من. When I got my share from Khaybar, that was the most precious thing that I ever possessed. Okay, I never possessed anything better than this. So he asked the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, فاستشرت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فأشار علي بالوقف. So I asked him, what should I do with it? فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, put it as a waqf. Okay, dedicated as a waqf. A waqf will be, as we will explain, for the benefit of the Muslims, as we will see inshallah. And perhaps this is an indication that al-waqf is one of the best ways, if not the best, to dedicate your wealth for al-waqf. Okay, because the Prophet ﷺ said, إذا مات ابن آدم انقطع عمله إلا من ثلاث. If the son of Adam dies, all his actions, all his good deeds will stop, except three. But actually, the meaning, just to explain and to understand very well, that the meaning of this hadith does not mean it's limited to those three. But those three, as the ulama said, those three are very much his action, direct result of his action. But we know there are many other deeds that people will do that this person will get rewarded for after his death. But those three things are his direct or results of the direct result of his own actions. ولد صالح يدعو له, his own son. He was the reason, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala permission, to bring this son into this world. ولد صالح يدعو له وعلم ينتفع به, his own ilm. وصدقة جارية, and صدقة الجارية, continuous صدقة, صدقة that continues to work and benefit people after his death. And that is exactly al-waqf. That is exactly al-waqf, with a little restriction, but that is al-waqf. Because here this talks about صدقة الجارية, but صدقة الجارية can start before his death and carries on after his death. And that is al-waqf, without any restriction. Okay, so when we talk about al-waqf, we're talking about sadaqah al-jariyah. We're talking about the continuous sadaqah, and this sadaqah al-jariyah has ahkam, and has rulings, and has restrictions, and has principles that we need to understand So when we, instead of thinking that we did waqf and it's not, or we have done something but it's waqf because of the way we said it, but now we want to change our mind, so now we need to understand all these things inshallah, and it's straightforward. الوقف معناه في اللغة الحبس عن التصرف. The meaning of الوقف in the Arabic language, when we say الوقف, we mean الحبس عن التصرف. يعني to be forbidden from using this specific thing. So just in general, الوقف الوقف means not to have access or not to be able to utilize this thing in the sense personal, as we will explain يعني. But الحبس, الحبس يعني someone in jail, that is الحبس. Jail is called حبس because the person in jail cannot really move freely. So when we talk about الوقف, we're talking about when you dedicate something as a waqf, you don't have right to do with it what you will be able to do if you did not. So once I say X or this chair as a waqf, then there are restrictions. I'm limited now. I cannot do what I used to do before with this chair. All right. So when we say الوقف, we say الحبس يعني عن التصرف في الأشياء. قال ابن الأثير يقال وقفت الشيء أقفه وقفة ولا يقال أوقفته فإن هذا يعني لغة رديئة. So when you say يعني وقفت هذه أو هذا الماء لوجه الله, you say وقفت أو أوقفت. But it's very important to understand the difference in the language, and we will say when things become waqf and what are the conditions, because people will say it and then they regret it, or people say it and they don't mean it. Okay? Because once we will see, once you dedicate something as a waqf, that's it. It's out of your possession. Okay? Out of your possession. It doesn't belong to you anymore. You have no right to do anything with it except for the reason you have indicated. So يقال وقفت الشيء أقفه. So وقفت أقف, لكن لا تقول أوقفت. Okay? أما معناه اصطلاحا فهو تحبيس الأصل وتسبيل المنفعة. The meaning in the fiqh of الوقف تحبيس الأصل. Okay? الأصل is the thing that you want to put as a waqf. تحبيسه يعني you do not allow it to be used in a normal way regarding giving it away or selling it or giving it as a gift. So when we say tahbis, you become unable or you're not allowed anymore to do with it what you would do if it was your own property. Okay? Even though before you decide it's a waqf, it's yours. You cannot go to someone's wealth and say this is waqf. You have to have the possession of it. It has to belong to you. So once you say it's a waqf, now you're not allowed to use it the way or to have the rights to it the way you have rights to your wealth, because it's out of your. So when we say tahbisul asli, يعني now this asl or this thing that you want to put as a waqf, you don't have the rights to it anymore as you would have for your own wealth. وتسبيل المنفعة, تسبيل يعني الإطلاق. So تسبيل المنفعة, and المنفعة, and some of the ulama said الثمرة, but المنفعة more general because ثمرة can be mainly for plants. So تسبيل المنفعة, this thing that you said it's a waqf, now you don't have the rights to it the way you would have for your own wealth because it's out of it. وتسبيل المنفعة, now you say, you know what, I'm gonna put it as a waqf, but I will not allow people to benefit from it. It doesn't work like that. So تحبيس الأصلي, you put it as a waqf, وتسبيل المنفعة, then the benefit that comes out of it is accessible to whomever you indicate. So for example, I build a building and I say this is masjid. Okay, now before I say this is a masjid, it belongs to me. So once I say this is waqf as a masjid, then that means two things. First, I don't own it anymore. Whereas some people today, and he'll build the masjid, he'll call it after his father's name, and then he controls the people what they want, what he wants to do in there. You can come in. You, no salah for you today. Go home. Some people do that, and this is no exaggeration. Okay? He might come on a Friday and start picking and choosing who's going to stay and who's going to leave. Alright? He might start threatening and say, today we're going to close. Okay? So it's very important. Once you dedicate a place that you own and say, this is a waqf as a masjid, it entails two things. It's out of your property and you cannot come and sell it, and you don't have control over it. And second, you cannot prevent people from benefiting of it. If it's a masjid, the main thing is to learn in it, to pray in it, and all this. So you cannot prevent. This is the fruit, and this is the benefits that come out of this asl. If it's, for example, bustan, or ha'it, or garden, or a farm, you say this is waqf for the poor. So first, you cannot sell it anymore. Second, when the poor come, you cannot tell them, I don't like you, so no food for it. He's poor, then he is entitled to get that or the benefit of that thing. والمقصود بالأصل هو ما يمكن الانتفاع به مع بقاء عينه. Now this al-asl, or the thing that you're going to put as a waqf, has to have a condition, and that is after it's being used, or after the benefit being attained by the people entitled to gain this benefit, still beneficial. Understand? Still beneficial. What does that mean? يعني this water, for example, can I put this water as waqf? No. Remember we talked about the difference in opinion about water? But those who went, they said okay, they said if you are willing to replenish it all the time, and you open a well and you keep bringing water to it, or a place and you keep providing water. So can I come and say this bottle as a waqf? No, because once it's drunk, when someone drinks it, it's finished. And al-asl, when they say tahbis al-asl means after I use it, it still can be used by the person after me, and by the person after me. Like a aqar. The aqar, a building, a masjid, bustan, land, this and that, can be used over and over and over. Alright? A farm eats the fruit today, next year it will grow again. Next year will grow again. Alright? Stuff like that. So in general, food cannot be waqf in this sense. You cannot bring order some big meal and say this is waqf, because once it's eaten and it's over, it's gone. Alright? والمقصود بتحبيسها أنها لا تباع ولا توهب ولا تورث أو تورث. So when we say تحبيس, you don't have you're not entitled to use it or to have the rights to it the way you would have for your own wealth. With your own wealth you can sell, with the waqf you can't. Your own wealth you can give as a gift, with the waqf you can't. With your own wealth, if you die, it will be inherited. With this it will not. Alright? So very important to understand these words. وتسبيل المنفعة, التسبيل يعني الإطلاق. تسبيل to allow people to have access. المنفعة يعني الغلة الناتجة. منفعة يعني the benefit of whatever. أمثلة الوقف ذكر ابن القدامى رحمه الله some of the examples of الوقف. أبرزها المساجد. Okay, the most famous, well-known type of waqf, صدقة جارية, is masjid. Okay, but today every time someone wants to have waqf, he builds a masjid. So you'll find on the same يعني corner 3 and 4 masajid back home. Divided the community. Okay. يعني the ulama talk about Salat al-Jumu'ah, they tell you one Salah Jumu'ah in a town. One Salah, one Jumu'ah in the whole town. Today you find يعني 2 blocks, another Jumu'ah. Every 2 blocks, Jumu'ah. 2 blocks, Jumu'ah. So the point is here is in Masajid the most famous waqf, but it's not the only type of waqf. حديث المتواتر أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم حديث متواتر من بنى لله مسجدا بنى الله له بيتا في الجنة. Whoever builds a masjid for Allah, then Allah, يعني on this earth, Allah will build him a house in paradise. This hadith, يعني العلماء قال متواتر. يعني the authenticity of this hadith is almost the authenticity of the Quran. Mutawatir, يعني too many people reported this hadith, it's impossible that they all agreed to lie. Okay? Too many people. So it's impossible that all these people came together and they said, we're going to make about this hadith. So that's when it reached, and that is the Quran. The Quran is mutawatir. Okay? Also, أن يوقف مثلا عقار, يعني a house. You put this house as waqf. For who? يعني you say, for the poor people who come to this city and they don't find a place to live, they can live in here. That is waqf. Okay? Or a building to take care of the orphans. Waqf. From your wealth, you build a house, a school, whatever, and you say, this is for the orphans of the Muslims. Waqf. Okay? As long as it's existing, you are getting rewarded for it. Alright? Very important. Also, أن يوقف الإنسان على المحتاج من ذريته. Also, some of the poor from amongst your family, you can say this is a waqf for them. يعني you're afraid if you die and your wealth gets distributed, that those individuals or those people from amongst your family who are poor or weak or young or women, because the other people have more power and they can take their share, you're afraid they won't have a place to live. طيب? So you say, وقفت هذا البيت للفقراء من ورثتي. You say, I dedicate this house as waqf for the poor of my waratha, of my heirs, the poor people of my family. So in this way, if you have little kids, maybe your wife, I'm talking about perhaps older age girls, so you have daughters who were divorced and they're not married, so they're living again with you. So those people might not have a place to live if you die and the earth is distributed. And let's assume that this house is the only thing you own. So if you were to die and it will be divided and be sold and distributed, they won't have a place to live. So you say, I put this house as a waqf for those who are in need from amongst my family, who cannot have a place to live in. And this has conditions we will explain, but that is an example. Alright? So that is one example as the. And some of the Sahaba like Zubayr ibn al-Awwam did this. He did exactly what I just told you. وقف بعض دوره على المحتاج من ورثته وتسكن فيه المردودة من بناته. مردودة يعني المطلقة. Alright? So he put a waqf, a house, and he said the poor of my family and the divorced women from amongst my daughters can live in here. When it comes to this issue, يكون بالوصف لا بالشخص. And when you say this waqf for the poor of my family, the weak of my family, wasf, you cannot dedicate or you cannot indicate a name. You cannot say this house is a waqf for my son Ahmed. هذا لا يجوز. Because if you have kids, you have to be just. So if you're going to put waqf for Ahmed, you better put waqf for Muhammad, put waqf for Amina, that's just like that. So when you say this waqf for the poor of my heirs or my family or my waratha, then this way you describe. So anyone who this description applies to is qualified to benefit from this waqf. Alright? Very important. والأصل في الوقف حديث عمر قال ابن قدامة يعني. You know the example, the hadith we mentioned about Khaybar, that's al-asl and that's al-qa'ida and that is al-umda in this. وقيل إن أول وقف في الإسلام هي أراضي مخيريق. These أراضي يعني also من Khaybar. The prophets, they said this is the first waqf in Islam. وقيل أول وقف في الإسلام هو مسجد قباء. مسجد قباء, المسجد, the first masjid they built when they got to Medina صلى الله عليه وسلم. وقيل أول وقف هو وقف عمر. ثمغ, they said أرض ثمغ, يعني the land he got from Khaybar. But regardless of what is first, there is no really fiqhi benefit, okay, of knowing what is first and what is last. قال ابن قدامة رحمه الله, and لعلهم, just to add يعني, لعلهم يعني, as we said, the general waqf or the most important waqf is masjid. So perhaps when they say a land, they mean the first waqf beside the masajid. Okay? But as again, يعني الله أعلم if there's any benefit from this. قال ابن قدامة ويصح الوقف بالقول والفعل الدال عليه. Now, certain property, how does it become waqf? Okay, I own a piece of land. How does it become waqf? Two ways. إما بالقول أو بالفعل. Either by saying it or by either by a say or an act. Okay? And the say can be صريح and can be indirect indicative. Okay? صريح يعني straightforward. يعني if you say that word, the thing is waqf. There is no, يعني, you cannot come and say, I did not mean that. Okay? If one of those three words are said or is said, that means the property becomes waqf and you cannot change your mind. قال ابن قدامة والصريح أن يقول حبست أو وقفت أو سبلت. These three words. وقفت يعني the verb of waqf. حبست, the verb of the meaning of الوقف. تحبيس الأصل. حبست, وقفت, حبست أو سبلت. سبلت يعني I put down the benefit of this property as a waqf. So if you use these three words, one of those three words, then the property automatically becomes waqf. Alright? And there is no يعني, as I said, I did not mean it, I meant something else, this and that. If you use one of those words, as the ulama said, it's direct, يعني صريحة, عبارة صريحة that this is a waqf and it's out of the question. والكناية يعني the indirect way أن يقول تصدقت أو حرمت أو أبدت. Okay? Now those three words, indirect, you can say, but with them there has to be accompanied with another condition. So these words, تصدقت, I've given as sadaqah, the verb of sadaqah, أو حرمت, the verb of making something haram, يعني حرمت على نفسي, أو أبدت, يعني gave it away forever. So if you use these three words, then something else has to come to confirm the waqf. And if I use these three words, I can get out of it, unless there are other things that are confirmed or come along with these words. والكناية لا ينعقد بها الوقف إلا أن يقترن بها أحد ثلاثة أمور. If I use one of those three words, the last three words, then al-waqf is not complete yet, unless one of three things take place as well. An-niyyah, the intention. So this person who said حرمت هذا المكان يعني لوجه. So we come to him, we say, what did you mean? Did you mean waqf? If he says yes, then it's waqf. If he says no, then he's still entitled to it, to the house or to the land. Unless the next thing, أو باقتران أحد الألفاظ الخمسة الباقية. Or the other thing beside النية, if he used one of those three with one of the five left, the three of الصريح and the two left of الكناية. So if he say حرمت وحبست, حرمت وحبست, that is waqf. If he says حرمت وأبدت, وقف. حرمت سبلت, وقف. طيب حبست وسبلت. Okay, so if he uses one of those three indirect words with any other word of the five, the three of the direct and the two of the indirect, then this becomes waqf. The third condition, if it takes place, then it's waqf along with one of those three words. أن يقترن به ما يدل على الوقف. It's not the five words along with the word, but anything else that indicates that it's waqf. So for example, he says حرمت أو تصدقت أو أبدت هذه الأرض على ألا تباع وألا تهب وألا تورث. So if I say that يعني I gave this in charity, so it will not be sold and it will not be inherited and it will not be given as a gift, that means it's waqf. Alright? So anything that indicates, or one of the words of indirect plus any other word of the left between direct and indirect, or in niyyah, or the intention. الصيغة الفعلية. Now this is the الصيغة القولية. This is to say. But we said الوقف becomes waqf either by saying or by acting. What does it mean by acting? يعني you build a masjid. That's it. That's waqf. You don't have to say this is waqf. It's waqf. Okay? You build a masjid. Masjid is known as a waqf. So there is no need to say once you pray in it or once you allow people to pray in it, that is waqf lillah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wa anna al-masajida lillah. Now, there is a difference here between masjid and musalla. And if you confused, because the masajid has its own ahkam, musallayat have its own ahkam. Yani for example, salat al-tahiyyat al-masjid. A lot of the ulama say there is no tahiyyat al-masjid in al-musalla. Okay? يعني many ahkam. Salat al-jama'a, another issue. But the point is, if you are confused, is this masjid or musalla? Always go to this thing, the issue of al-waqf. Is this waqf or it's not? We said al-waqf, you cannot sell, cannot give away, you cannot rent, you cannot this and that. Okay? So if you ask, can this be sold? Does anyone have the right to sell Masjid al-Iman? No. So Masjid al-Iman is masjid. But let's say masjid, for example, Shamsuddin. Shamsuddin is part of a plaza that the brothers are renting a piece of it. Piece of the plaza, a couple of the stores. So since it's renting, that means it's not waqf. Got it? Because they can ask them to leave at any minute. And we said the waqf becomes for Allah. That's it. You cannot sell it, you cannot do anything with it. So Shamsuddin is musalla. So any place that is rented very much is musalla. Because they can come and kick you out at any minute. But something that is bought and in the possession of the Muslims, that is masjid, for example. Alright? So that is one of the ways to know the difference between musalla and masajid. Yani you go, for example, back home, every public place, let's say يعني دائرة حكومية, government building or public building, you find place for salah in that place. That is musalla. No one says that masjid. Because they can change it and they can close it whenever they want. They can say we don't want musalla anymore. Go in a hospital, airport, يعني places in school, there's musalla. Every school has a musalla. But they can say, you know what, we don't want you to pray here anymore. Go to the masjid. Stuff like that. So that is a difference. قال ابن قدامة مثل أن يبني مسجدا في الصلاة فيه أو سقاية ويشرعها للناس. So الصيغة الفعلية is you build a masjid and you call adhan. You call the adhan once, that makes this place masjid waqf lillah. Okay, you don't have to say waqf. You cannot change 5 years later. You say, I built a masjid and costed me this and this. Now I feel like I need money, so I'm going to go sell it. You can't do that. Once you establish the prayer in it once, and you called, even if you called the adhan once, this is waqf lillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't have right to do anything, even if you paid for it from your pocket every single penny. أو سقاية وشرعها للناس. سقاية يعني معناها toilets, دورات المياه, يعني public bathrooms. Some people يعني build public bathrooms for the people to use and they get the ajr. People make wudu, people يعني use it. So once you open it for the people and they start using it, that's it. You cannot change your mind and you say, I don't want it anymore. People are mean. You just let it go and let people benefit from it. وأيضا يعني ذكر العلماء المقبرة. المقبرة يعني you have a piece of land and the very first person you allow to be buried in there, that is waqf. Now it's a maqbara, it's a graveyard, cemetery, and it becomes waqf. You cannot sell it. Right? That is another example the ulama use. So here we talk about صيغة الفعلية. يعني you don't need to say waqf. Just by the action, it becomes waqf. By what you use it for. Some issues يعني just to talk. Waqf and wasiyah. We know, we haven't talked about al-wasiyah yet, but with al-wasiyah, if the person is in his death sickness, if the person is in his death sickness, no one knows, but if he's in that sickness and he dies after it, but during that sickness he writes a will, he does not have the right to write in his will to give away, for example, more than one third of his wealth. And if I have $3 million when I'm dying, I can say 1 million goes as a waqf. That's okay, but I cannot say 1,100,000 because I cannot give away more than one third. If I'm in the disease of my death or the sickness of my death, يعني بنازع. But if I'm healthy, I have the right to give away everything. Okay? If I'm healthy and I'm not sick, and if I have $10 million and I decide to give it all as charity, there is nothing haram in that. Okay? So when it comes to waqf, the same thing. If you're healthy and functioning fine, you're not sick, you can put all your wealth as a waqf. But if you're dying and you want to put waqf, only you cannot give more than 1/3. So for example, someone is dying and worried about his kids and not having a place to live, so he gives a house. He said, this house, my house, is a waqf for the poor of my family. And he dies. He was sick. So after his death, his heirs, should they sell the house to distribute, or they shouldn't? Who said? We say, is this house equals 1/3 of his wealth, or more or less? If it's less than 1/3, then it's not. If it's more than 1/3, then yes. All right? So very important point. Also, the Sunnah and the advice of the Prophet ﷺ is not to give everything away. You need to leave something for your family. As Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu anhu, when he asked the Prophet ﷺ to give, I want to give all my wealth, I want to give half, I'm going to give this, I'm going to give that, to the 1/3. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّكَ إِن تَذَرْ وَرَثَتَكَ أَغْنِيَاءَ خَيْرًا مِنْ أَن تَذَرَهُمْ فُقَرَاءَ يَتَكَفَّفُونَ النَّاسَ. Okay? عَالَةً عَلَى النَّاسِ. So it's better to leave your heirs or the people after you rich, your family, it suffice. You don't have to leave them rich, but you leave them with something that they can depend on in their life, better than to leave them poor, that they need to beg people and become burden on other people. Okay. والوقف يجوز للإنسان أن يشترط فيه شروط. If you're going to put something as waqf, you have the right to put conditions. How to be used, who to be given to, who to be benefiting from it. And الفقهاء يعبر عن ذلك بقوله أو نص الواقف كنص الشارع. نص الواقف كنص الشارع، يعني الشارع هو الله سبحانه وتعالى. They don't say there, if I put a condition, is equal in mandation to the condition of Allah, but they say in the understanding, يعني فهم والدلالة. Anyway, فعمر رضي الله عنه لما وقف الأرض جعل وقفه في أمور تصدق بها للفقراء وفي القربى وفي الرقاب وفي سبيل الله وابن السبيل والضيف، لا جناح على من وليها أن يأكل منها بمعروف أو يطعمها صديقة. So Umar, when he put this land as a waqf, he indicated who he wants to use and who he wants the fruit of this land to benefit. He said the poor and the orphans, al-masakin, fuqara, ibn sabil, the traveler, all this, and the person who's going to be in charge of it. There is no problem if he eats from it or he feeds his friend, all these things. So conditions, you can put conditions, as we said. So if you want to put a house as waqf, you can put the condition that this house only the poor of my family can use, only the poor of the Muslims, only the this is a place, a school, or somewhere for people to live, only the orphans can use, stuff like that. So you have the right to put conditions reasonably, yani. And he should make it clear what he means, what he wants, not make it ambiguous for people to start guessing. But when he is putting the conditions, he cannot put a condition for certain poor, and he cannot say for so and so and so and so, as we said. He wants to leave it general, for the poor of my family. That's it. But you do not say Ahmed, Muhammad and Ali. Okay? So very important, this point. Now, الوقف يكون كالوصية إذا كان بعد الموت. فلا ينفد إلا في الثلث. As we said, the third only you have the right in الوقف. أما في حال حياته, in your life, you can give or put waqf as much as you want if you're still healthy. يعني إذا كان الشخص لديه ورثة فقراء، هل الأفضل أن يكون لهم الوقف أو من خارج الورثة؟ He has people who gonna يعني inherit him, but they're poor. They're gonna be poor. The examples we give: he have little kids, he has a wife, he has divorced daughters. Is it better to give them the waqf or to give the waqf to strangers? Of course, it's better to give to those. أقربون أولى بالمعروف. Okay, it's better to give to those that you're afraid they won't find a place to live in. That's why we said the poor, because maybe if after the inheritance is distributed, they're rich, so they're not qualified for this anymore because you put that condition. Okay, so it's very important that we understand this حيثية يعني. طيب لو someone put a waqf and after a while he wants it back. Okay. يعني he puts something waqf. I put this masjid as a waqf. I build a masjid, it's a waqf. And after a few years, you know what? I want it back. Anything you dedicate and you decide to be a waqf for Allah, you are not entitled to take it back. Okay? You are not entitled to take it back. That's it. Now, some of the issues of waqf. I put something as waqf. Then I realize it's not being used. يعني I brought books, مراجع, تفاسير, شروح to مسجد الإيمان. But it's been more than a year and still the same. No one touched them. Okay? No one touched them, no one reading them, no one benefit from them. Do I have the right to take them out and put them somewhere where people will read? Allahu a'lam jaiz. No, the ulama said no, but some said yes, because the point and the hikmah is for people to benefit from it. We build a small masjid, waqf, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless the people and they build a bigger masjid, yani a block away from it. And now people don't pray in that small masjid, they go to the big one. Is it okay to sell that masjid? And because people are not using it anymore. So the ulama said it's okay. The difference is yani, you sell it and the money goes into the big masjid. So the money needs to be taken to be used in the same purpose that the asl was being used. So for example, masahif, or يعني masahif old, people using them over and over and over, they got old or torn apart or all that. So what do we do with this? You take them, you put them in a place where people might use them. You try to fix them, repair them, by covering them, fixing the cover, all that. If they are not usable anymore, that's the difference amongst the ulama. Some said you bury it, Imam Ahmed, and some said you burn it. But يعني Uthman يعني حرق المصاحف. Uthman collected all the masahif and he burned them. And each have their proofs. But the point is, you have no right to take a waqf from a place where it belongs to. يعني someone who's in charge of a shura of a masjid. طيب. And they have furniture in the masjid. The furniture is getting old. So he said, we're getting new furniture anyway. Someone, so-and-so brother, may Allah bless him, donating for new furniture. So he takes this furniture and he starts giving it away to the people. He has no right to do that. because this is waqf. And the waqf, you don't have the right, يعني حق التصرف. What can I do with this old furniture? Sell it and take the money back in the masjid. Alright? Stuff like that. Anything that is waqf in the masjid, you need to get rid of it. As long as it can be sold, you have no right to give it away. Okay? You don't have the right to give it away. But if it's something that is no one will buy and it's not usable anymore and need to be trashed, then it's trashed. No one will say anything. Right? Very important. Answered you? Okay. Salam. Time is Aisha.
Maintenance. You have a building and you put it waqf for this masjid. Can you maintain it on behalf of the masjid from your own money? Or is it you just don't have anything to do with it?
It's whatever you choose. Whatever you choose. If you say, I'm going to build a masjid and I will be responsible about the expenses of this masjid. As long as you can afford, you take care of it if you choose to. But you're not obligated. As we said, the maintenance of the masajid and the opening of the masajid is the responsibility of the community as a whole. So if you decide to give a waqf, we don't tell you want to open a masjid, you better be ready to pay the bills. No, we don't say that. You open a masjid, mashallah, jazakallah khair, we'll take care of the rest. Alright? Stuff like that. But no one said, once you put a farm as a waqf, no one says you have to be the farmer and you have to be the one providing the seeds and you have to be harvesting and you have to be irrigating. No. You put a waqf and the people will take care of the rest. If you choose to take care of that, that is fine as well. تفضل.
مثال ربما أحد يشتري زربية للمسجد مثلا وياها تكون وقفا أصبحت قديمة وقرر أن يبيعها وهل هذا المال يجب أن يشتري به نفس الأصل أو يعطيه للمسجد ربما يستعملونه في أي شيء.
لا احنا نقول ما يعني انت if you brought وقف للمسجد اصبح ملك المسجد ما نقول انت you come and you take it.
ليس انا يعني
المسجد.
نعم المسجد.
let's say الاكزامبل اللي انت استعملته المثل
زربية مثلا.
طيب زربية لا يحفظ. طيب you bought زربية for the masjid يعني carpet. Now this carpet, let's say smelly. People when they make sujood, تأففوا يعني. You can clean it, but we cleaned it enough. So now we need to change it. So we say if you're going to remove it, you need to replace it. You need to replace it, because you need carpet. Okay? But if someone stand up and says, you know what, this carpet smells, this is how we need to learn to do things. Instead of complaining, we need to have positive complaining. So someone after salah will stand up and say, you know, I could not breathe in my sujood. This carpet smells, and I will buy new carpet for the masjid. So we'll take the old carpet. If we can sell it, we sell it. We use it for other stuff in the masjid, because now it's gonna be replaced. But if we're gonna say no, sell it, and then the money you're gonna use to pay bills, and now people they have no carpet to pray on, no one says that. So if we sell it, we can take that money and bring the extra money to add to it, so we can manage to buy new carpet. So you have to look at the maslaha, yani. What's needed and what's not. Yeah.
Can we make a business well, even though the profit of the business doesn't go directly to the poor people, but will help, let's say, build the community, or hire a Muslim that benefit themselves and family?
Concerning the business, as we said, يعني this business, when it becomes a waqf, you don't have the right to sell it anymore. So that's the first thing. The second, the benefit of al-waqf goes to the poor.
Has to go to
Yeah, we said وتسبيل المنفعة. تسبيل يعني إطلاق. المنفعة, the benefit of X waqf, any waqf, has to be for whatever direction you want it to be spent on. So someone, for example, one opens a business, he says, this is waqf to support Masjid al-Iman. So everything comes out of that business goes, so it doesn't have to be to the poor. It goes to benefit the masjid. That is waqf. All right? Stuff like that. Now what if I come here, this land, alhamdulillah, on the right and on the left, on your right and your left, is for the masjid. Can I open business for the masjid? Okay? So here there are different issues with that. But the point is, if the benefit gonna be for the masjid, then why not? Okay? But I cannot sell a piece of land, of this land, for someone to open business even if he gonna benefit the masjid. Said when this land is bought, it's a waqf as a masjid, or as anything that belongs to the masjid. It has to stay like that. It has to stay like that. Not like when some people collect, let's say, food for the poor. Huh? They go collect food for the poor. So he collects 10 tons of food to be sent to the poor in any area. He goes, now for this food to be sent, has to be, you have to pay for it, for shipping. So he takes 5 of it, 5 tons, he pays the shipping company, and 5 tons he sends. هذا لا يجوز. This is not allowed. Because that 10 tons were collected with the intention to reach the poor. Not to be used to pay to ship it. Because then they will lose on the benefit. Stuff like that. So when this land is bought for the masjid, it needs to be used for the masjid. Alright? Very important. Alright.
Yeah. We have a mosque, right?
Right.
As a waqf. And after a while, I'm going to find that we have like a lot of bid'ah. Can I close it down? Or not?
That's a very dangerous question.
Like they're not following the sunnah and...
We ask the people of knowledge for that. Inshallah. You always come with good questions. The problem answering this question is we're not in a place where there is a bigger leadership of the society that you can complain to, and they will take care and take care of what's happening and deal with it. Every masjid you can open, but also at the same time we need to understand, if you decide to invest for a community to open the masjid for them, you better be sure how they're gonna worship Allah in this masjid. You better be sure of the community. Sometimes tawari and things happen after that, you're not responsible. But if you look at a community and you say, mashallah, they're ala sunnah, multazimeen, they're following the sunnah, not bid'ah, all that, then you open. But you don't open it with people that you know they're all in the bid'ah and all. But after that takes place, okay, usually there are people who are in charge of the masajid, organizations. In a Muslim country you have al-wazara, the ministry, amr bil ma'ruf, all these things. But when they don't exist, Allah al-musta'an.
I believe Rasulullah sent one of the Sahaba to a mosque to get you burn it.
هذا مسجد ضرار. مسجد ضرار. هذا مسجد ضرار صحيح. لكن المسجد أصلا من أصله ما بني على التقوى. لمسجد أسس على التقوى من أول يوم حق أن تقوم فيه. هو هذا مسجد أسس من الأصل لتفريق المسلمين. أوكي؟ هذا مسجد ضرار. فهو ما نقول إنه وقف أصلا. أوكي؟ ما كان وقف من الأصل لكن الله أعلم إذا إحنا نسأل أهل العلم، لكن في نفس الوقت بدك تشوف المصالح والمضار. هل هذا المسجد لعله في بدع، بل في نفس الوقت لعله في ناس اتبعوا الدين يتبعوا الدين بسبب هذا المسجد. فإحنا نقيس المنافع والمضار. إذا أنا سكرته مثلا، إذا أنا أغلقت هذا المسجد، هل المضار أكثر أو المنافع؟ يعني لعل هذا الجواب، والله أعلم. فإنكار المنكر إذا استلزم منكر أكبر منه ما ينكر. يعني إذا أنا gonna forbid an evil and it's gonna lead to a bigger evil, if there is a bid'ah in a masjid, but now if I close it to stop this bid'ah, now I'm gonna create a bigger bid'ah. Now there people have no place to, or a bigger harm. People have no place to pray Jum'ah. People have no place to pray Jama'ah. Then that is obviously munkar bigger than the bid'ah. If I can treat the bid'ah and deal with it, then inshallah that will be better. But we'll ask Ahl al-Ilm inshallah and see what they say. جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الله يبارك فيك.